Don't ever get it twisted, y'all. I ain't gonna never live there again, but I'm gonna rep it till the death of me. And you ain't gotta say shit, man. I know I'm fly, man. I ain't even tripping, man. Fucked up like my life been the whole fucking trip. I swing and ride and slip, cause no telling when I'm gon' slip and fall. Y'all done left me every time I need a pickup. They repossess my pickup, nigga gone and roll that stick up. I'm lit up and leaning, bullshit hot and fiending. I ain't blowed, I'm feeling it. It's seeming like these niggas scheming. It's seeming like relief only lasts long as my buzz. Just post your motors, riding along with my cuz. My sister grown up, but she won't own up to the level. Brighter brother, she a rebel. Boxing, scrapping with the devil. Pebbles, the boulders of bricks. I'm talking Bombay cheese. Except my assets freeze. Except the dank that's in the breeze. Please leave me alone. The wrong blown while I'm sipping. Don't try to stop me while I'm dipping, cause I got to clip it. I'm tripping. I'm slipping into a state of confusion. I'm sipping for my losing. Hydrocodone for my bruises, cause I'm fucked up and I can't take the pain. I be caught top down, let the seats in the rain. It's a shame, but fuck slitting my wrist. I'm gon' sit and sip like this. I let niggas go and suck while I'm sipping on this hook. I feel so adult because I buy my weed in bulk. Yeah, I'm off the dome with it. Yeah, she riding this bitch like she mule fitted. Do you get it? Yeah, every time I'm on it, I just spit it cause I see it so vivid. I push it to the limit, busting through them walls, busting them in they jaws. I be wrecking without a pause until these hoes call the laws. I be sipping, why these niggas tripping? My thing up on my hip, man. I don't take no fucking lipping, but really I'm just trying to bring this healing to you niggas. But niggas don't understand that I also want my figures. So I just gotta keep it real when I'm going. Know if you check my veins, check my ancestry 23, it ain't no hoe in my shit. Yeah, I know they like this. And all this shit I spit is priceless. And yeah, my skills, my style is beat the nicest. I beat the smoothest. Every time I'm on it, I make y'all be grooving. Not one for losing. Repping for Houston, but I ain't even from there. I ain't even from there. No, I'm from that lean town, Abilene, Texas. Niggas see me pulling up with tigers on my necklace. I reppin' for them boys coming out about them 80s. I don't give a fuck if they hate me, cause they lady wanna lay me. Oh, I'm done. Yeah, I be feeling like my bullet weighs a ton, but I be killing these niggas for fun. Yeah, and that ain't no pun intended. No, I go hard, I just caught my second winded. I remember back a few years ago, I was in the penitentiary, but now I'm on this shit and I'm the hottest one you mentioned. I killed it. Can you smell this tension? I be going hard and don't got no penitentiary. I'm from Texas. Yeah, you can't just hate. Let me quit, y'all, man. I just be playing, but I got a little skills, huh? What it was, man. Y'all already know who it is, man. And if you don't, there it is. Y'all tuned in with Priceless Knowledge of Self. And this right here, this ain't shit but a little cosmic insight one more time for your mind, y'all. And we're gonna put the bullshit to the side because we talk about some serious shit, y'all. Because this right here, this is just some about those people that have Chiron in the 4th house of the natal chart. I almost said 7th, but Chiron in the 4th house of the natal chart. And before we even get to that, man, you already know what the fuck we're gonna have to do first, y'all. First, I'm gonna bring y'all a little bit on what Chiron means and a little bit of the mythology behind it. Then after that, I'm gonna bring y'all a little bit on what the 4th house of the astrological chart means. Then after that, we're gonna bring it to a culmination, y'all, and get to business. So with that being said, man, let's get it cracking. Okay. So Despite being one of the more recently discovered celestial bodies, which was like in 1977 when it was on a transit between Saturn and Uranus, Chiron's power is widely acknowledged and respected throughout all of astrology. And the mythology behind it is basically this. His mother was a water nymph, and she was extremely beautiful. And she caught the fancy of either Zeus or Cronus, just depending on who it is that you're asking. And in doing so, he was on a mission, had to have it. His nose was wide open. And she was not trying to deal with that. And she ultimately ended up turning herself into a horse. Well, not before she got I'm sorry. And she ended up getting pregnant. But after she had turned herself into a horse, when she had the baby. So the child that she ended up having was a centaur, who was, a third human, a third horse, and a third god, and half god. It was half human. It had 2/4 human, 2/4 horse, and then the other half was god. And centaurs were known for being really wild. And, after going through this, she prayed to be turned into a tree, and therefore she was. And Chiron, despite not having parents because his mama was this motherfucking tree, and his daddy, was like a lot of motherfuckers. Like he was, caught up in his power. He didn't give a fuck about Chiron. He had millions of illegitimate children, and because of his passions. And so he was on his own. And despite centaurs having this reputation for being wild, Chiron wasn't like that. Chiron was thoughtful. He was spiritual. He was loving. And he was filled with light. And, he ultimately became one of the greatest, and most influential, spiritual leaders and healers and skilled teachers. And, one day as he was trying to hand a poison arrow to one of his students, he dropped it and it pierced his own leg. And being the son of a god, he cannot die. And so he was constantly in pain and in agony, and he was always, begging to the gods, to allow him to die, and, because of the gratitude of his teachings and his healing, they ultimately did take him out of his misery. And, instead they took him and they placed him in the sky so that he may bring healing to all of us. Okay. And so thus here's Chiron, the wounded healer. And Chiron's position in the chart, it really reveals where we've been wounded and also where there's an opportunity for discovering healing from within through acknowledgement and accountability, then sharing that discovery with other people. Healing begets healing through compassion for the suffering of others, y'all. And I'll say that the position of Chiron by house and sign can also show where we have talent and access to ancient wisdom, as well as where we might depart from the mainstream in service to a higher practicality. Yeah. And those with prominent Chiron are likely to be awesome educators and amazing spiritual healers in his memory. And so when we're talking about the fourth house of the astrological chart, the fourth house is ruled by the moon and by the sign of Cancer. And it's considered the house of family and home. And it's also known as the Natal or the IC. And it's where, where we plant ourselves firmly and where we lay down our roots. It's the lowest point in the chart. And, as it were, it's also where one day we'll return to the very same earth, y'all. And, it's just where that cycle will be brought full circle. And so that's where it's also, addressing old age, endings, and our final resting place. So a lot of people don't say that when they're talking about the fourth house because they put everything about death on the eighth house. But the fourth house is where we make our final resting place, man. And on another note, this house can also speak to our relationship with our mother or the least dominant parent, and how that really shaped our sense of self in whatever way that was, and that's something that's definitely worth paying attention to, y'all. In my case, my fourth house is about my daddy because he wasn't around. So he's the less dominant parent. You know what I'm saying? And, I can also say that the fourth can represent, our actual house and or any real estate that we might come to acquire too. So there's always that to consider. But more than anything else, the IC is about family, history, and our traditions, and which all really contribute in the process of building a genuinely actualized and individualized self. That's what I would say. And, you know, a sense of home in its highest form is really what we always really need, no matter what type of sign we are, you know. And, you know, any planets placed in the fourth really show what energy we have to work with in a domestic sense more than anything else. So, yeah, I said all that just to say that, y'all. And so with Chiron in the fourth house, you know, this particular placement shows that these people's deepest wound resides in, you know, in their family life. And it can predict a difficult childhood, confinement to home, you know, being cast out, or even having a disabled or a sick parent that was in need of constant attention and some shit like that. And I sympathize because I had to go through that, even though I don't have Chiron in the fourth. And, you know, it indicates extreme vulnerability too in the relationship with the parents, with whether it just be with one or even both I've seen. And in most cases, though, the native really has a problematic relationship with one of the parents, or even, you know, one of the parents is just non-existent or not there, while the other one, you know, becomes the ultimate support system, the safe haven, the protective and deeply influential one. And, you know, what it is that they've attached to the parent on an unconscious level so deeply that even that relationship can kind of become unhealthy in all kinds of different ways that I'm not going to speak on. Okay. And yeah, we're talking about Chiron, but, you know, and, you know, having resentment and hate for our family is really, it's only an inner reflection, because, you know, they make up a huge part of who we are, whether we despise them or not. And I can say that you don't have to look at them even as people. When I think about my systems, you see my chart personally. And like I said, I don't have Chiron in the fourth, but I'm going to relate this to y'all so y'all would understand. My chart personally, you know, it's literal. You know what I'm saying? So, I can't deny that my parents are part of who I am. Like, my mama was a Pisces moon. I mean, a Pisces sun with a Leo moon. You know what I'm saying? My moon, my mother is a Pisces sun, is Pisces in the fifth house of Leo. Pardon me, y'all. I'm all discombobulated because I started talking about my mama and getting emotional. But let me calm down, okay? My mama was a Pisces sun with a Leo moon. My moon is in Pisces in the fifth house of Leo. You know what I'm saying? That's my mama. You know, I got Venus, you know, I got Venus in Leo, my mama's nature. I got Mercury in Leo, my mama's nature. You know what I'm saying? When somebody tells you that you act just like your daddy, you know what I'm saying? My dad, you know, my Mars, the way I act, the way I move is in Capricorn. My dad's moon is a Capricorn moon in the fourth house of the moon. So there it is. Boom. You know what I'm saying? I'm Mars in Capricorn in the fourth house. My dad is a Capricorn moon. You know what I'm saying? When I look to my own child, my own daughter, you know what I'm saying? Like, I have Mars in Capricorn, you know what I'm saying? Like, moving like my daddy, you know what I'm saying? I have Venus in Leo, you know what I'm saying? My daughter, you know what I'm saying? I'm a Libra rising, you know what I'm saying? My daughter is a Capricorn sun with a Libra moon, you know what I'm saying? And she's a Leo rising, you know what I'm saying? And she looks exactly like her daddy. And I love her to death. You know what I'm saying? So there's my Venus in Leo, and there is her. You know what I'm saying? Looking like my love. Yeah, it's literal, and it's that deep. You know what I'm saying? So when you have a despisement of your parents, you're only despising yourself, man. So you got to get over that. And another thing is, you know, there could be something in their family history, whether that be an abusive secret, scandals, or just something that they themselves don't like, they fear, or they resent, you know what I'm saying, that really fucked them up. But no matter how that shit plays out, the important factor is that they're going to learn how to, I said it twice, y'all. They're going to have to learn, I said learn have to, but they're going to have to learn how to separate themselves from their fucking past and whatever happened with their peoples, and really stop letting that shit fuck them up and hold them down. To be honest, y'all, in my opinion, this is one of the most difficult placements for me to really dig into, because the fourth house really shows the deepest part of your soul. And therefore, you know, with it being that, Chiron really buries itself deep and way deep down in your soul. Therefore, it's almost invisible, but that's from the outside. But inside to these people, it's fucking excruciating. Fucking excruciating. And, y'all just gotta find a way to fight through it, because, when it comes to folks with Chiron in the fourth, being objective and approaching the past is gonna be extremely essential to get anywhere in this motherfucking soul's journey that y'all are on. Okay. And, they've got to forgive, the past. They've got to forgive their parents. They got to forgive the circumstances. And most of all, they got to forgive themselves so that they can really help themselves develop more healthy emotions. They are, they really do have an extremely strong sense of empathy for others and a really deep inherent sense and desire to nurture those who feel displaced. But they need to learn how to love and nurture themselves in the same fucking way. Because once they forgive the past, learn to allow self-nurturing, and even open themselves up to the world without letting them fears of getting hurt really cripple them or, stop them from doing anything, they can transcend the pain and then really ultimately bring healing to others in return. Fourth house Chiron, man. These folks have probably had a really traumatic childhood, and that's obvious, often filled with abuse. They might have witnessed domestic abuse, been abused themselves all kind of different ways, traumatic events, and just this, or one of their parents was fucked up, or shit was so bad there was no sense of security, no sense of stability, and so there was just all this fucking uncertainty. But if they can overcome that, what it's going to do really is going to make them into amazing fucking parents who really break the cycle through giving their family a new life and, planting new, more healthy roots, which breaks the cycle that they were in through their own actions. Because we all know how loud actions speak, man. Volumes. Fucking volumes. Okay? And as adults, these people really feel compassion for the less fortunate in life, because they really understand how issues dating back to childhood can really scar a person, man, and really lead a person to escapism through addiction, through self-harm or even fucking suicide. And so, they're most likely the people that would speak on such issues like domestic abuse and shit like that from the perspective of a child. And I really feel that, society needs that, because a lot of the times it's all about the victim, the person that's being hit. But when there's kids in this household, and this is something that I know personally, like, you don't understand the effect that it's having on them. And being ruled by the moon, man, the fourth is also all about where we feel and how we feel, man. You know what I'm saying? And also really what has transpired in these people's past has caused them to be uncomfortable with expressing their emotions openly. And, it's definitely outwardly, you know what I'm saying? And that's going to be the first thing that they're really going to have to address, because that resentment is only holding them down. They resent themselves, for having feelings, and that's bullshit. Like, you can't tell me that ain't bullshit. That's bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Emotions are your strength. And maybe that's just because I'm a Cancer and I don't get all this bullshit, but emotions are your strength. You know what I'm saying? You just can't allow them to overrule your ability to reason. You get what I'm saying? And negativity is a powerful force that destroys everything. And you absolutely cannot let it win. You just can't. After everything that y'all have overcome, man, don't let that be your motherfucking demise. You feel me? And man, that's some priceless knowledge in itself. And this has been some priceless knowledge of self. And man, just because you built like that, you don't have to build like that, y'all. You don't have to feed into the negativity. You don't have to let nobody fucking rule over you. You don't have to let your own self stop you from loving again, man. Like, you have to let the past go. Just because you built like that, you don't have to build like that, man. So stop. All it takes is one step forward. Okay? So, look out, bro. I appreciate all the love and support. If y'all are interested in the astrological readings whatsoever, you know what I'm saying? You can either hit me up in the comments below or email me at mr.turner1300@gmail.com. If y'all are interested in fucking with me on any merch, we got a couple different styles of hats, man. You know what I'm saying? Y'all ain't gonna get customized like this, but you know, we got the hoodies. You know, we doing big things, bro. We doing big things. So, you know, y'all know what to do. If y'all fuck with me on any level, I'm asking you to like, share, and subscribe, man. Help me get out there because I'm trying to do it, man. I need y'all to please go check out my Facebook group, Priceless Knowledge of Self. We on Instagram, you know, Priceless Knowledge of Self, man. Like, hey, we out here, man. Okay. If y'all waiting on any readings, man, if you're waiting on a Vedic reading, it's gonna be a while. And I'm sorry. I probably hollered at you about it. There's no telling when. And I'm not gonna give you a time frame because I don't fucking know. And I love you and I'll do whatever it takes to make you feel more comfortable. We've already spoken about that. If you're waiting on anything other than that, we on point. We live. We here. It's coming on time. It's just me doing my shit. So y'all gotta bear with me. It's all there. And I'm gonna get out there. Y'all keep it true, man.